Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Apologies if there is feedback from this mic because I can't figure it out and I really want to record this video, so we move. But yeah guys, we are getting into me quitting my job and creating my dream life. And guys, it has been a journey. It has been such a journey, and I kind of want to talk you guys through a few things. So if I'm looking down, I'm looking at my phone because I obviously wrote down notes, but I want to talk about why I quit my job, my biggest fears and doubts that I've had during this journey, what inspired me to start a beauty business, raw emotions, and talk about the transition from, going from a corporate job, like having a 9-to-5 and a salary every single month, to generally not knowing like how much you're going to be making at the end of the month. I also want to talk about the first steps that I took after quitting and what I hope to achieve in this series. This is going to be a series about, the journey that I am taking to building my dream life and building my dream beauty business. So I want to take you guys on this journey with me, and I'm going to be as raw and as open as possible. I'm not going to lie, I'm not open with people that I don't know. I'm not open with people that I don't know. So this is a challenge for me and also quite vulnerable for me because I keep these sorts of things like within my circle. I don't really discuss it, but I do want to grow on YouTube and I do want to build a community, and I do want to inspire someone who is in a corporate job and is scared to quit. They're doing something that's just like not purposeful and it's not fulfilling, and they just feel unfulfilled and a bit lost. And I kind of just want to document my journey, so in like 5 years time I can look back at this video and say, babes, you done it. Do you know what I mean? Amongst all the struggle. Why I quit my job. The breaking point was, do you know what, if I'm being very honest with you, I have always known that I want to work for myself. It's something that I've said like since I was younger. I want to work for myself because I don't like being told what to do, and I do feel like the spirit that I have a leading spirit. I'm not a follower. I am not a subordinate. Like, I am a leader naturally. So I did find it difficult, like working in spaces where like I'm not in charge or things aren't going my way, or I don't have any input into changing things for the better. If I'm honest with you, it got to a point where I no longer felt challenged. When you don't fit in. If you know what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying. When you don't fit in and there's clear microaggressions, when you're in a company and you know that you don't belong and you're seeing things in like managers or emails, and it's kind of like condescended. I didn't feel valued, and it's something that I've prayed for over a long time. I was just like, God, like, I want a new job. So I was applying like crazy and I was getting rejected like mad. Like, the rejections were real, and I was just like, I was at a low place, and there was times where I would literally be crying to my friends about the situation I'm in and how draining work makes me and how depressed I feel. And I'm using the word depressed lightly because I know depression is a serious thing. I would say that I was feeling unhappy, extremely unhappy. And the fact that I was applying for jobs and nothing was coming of it, I kind of felt lost, and I kind of just felt like, God, what do you want me to do? And I just didn't understand what he wanted from me. And it literally just came a day where he was just like, okay, today's the day. Okay. And I'm not gonna lie guys, I was scared, but in the moment it felt right, and there was a sense of peace. I was very anxious, don't get me wrong, like I was very anxious, but there was a sense of peace, like, okay, I'm gonna figure it out. And a lot of the fears that I had was like, obviously I pay rent and I've got bills to pay, and I was like, I'm not gonna have an income. Like, what am I gonna do? How am I gonna provide for myself? And I remember when I told my dad like 1 month, my parents, both of them, 1 month after I quit, because I just didn't want to hear it. African parents, I just knew what they were going to say. And when I told my parents, my dad said exactly what I expected him to, which was, you made a mistake, you shouldn't have quit, you should have done both, like figured out what you wanted to do and do the full-time part as well. And I kind of just said to him like, when am I going to be able to chase my dreams? Do you know what I mean? Like, I've never in life taken such a huge risk for myself. And a part of me was like, if not now, then when? Like, I can't become the person that I want to be if I am not taking risks. Do you know what I mean? In order to grow and become big, I'm sure Jeff Bezos took risks, you know, I'm sure Elon Musk took risks. I'm sure these people took huge risks. They grew up from wealth, but a risk is a risk. Do you know what I mean? And I kind of just wanted to be bold and courageous and just say, F it, just go and do it, just fly. Do you know what I mean? If you fall, worst case scenario, apply for jobs. I think 2 months later, I decided to go into beauty. And how that even came about was I was on the phone to my friend. We were literally having conversation, and she was just like, oh, why don't you look into like brow lamination and, you know, lash lifts? Because I'm a beauty girl. I've had previous business endeavors in beauty. So I used to be a makeup artist, and then I used to retail like beauty products. So beauty is my bag. Like, I love it. I really enjoy it. So I was like, oh, let me look into it. So I looked into it, done research, and I was just like, okay, like, let me do it. I invested in the courses, became qualified, and started to do it. Guys, I generally thought in my first day that I'm going to be booked and busy, like clients are going to come running to me. In the next 6 months, I'll be able to get my own place and do this and do that. That was not the case. I went through a lot, like mentally. My emotions were like up and down. I feel like 2024 was really building my character that year. Like, there was a lot of fails, there was a lot of stagnancy, there was a lot of doubt, and there was a lot of fear. And I think the biggest fear, if I'm being honest, was financial fear. Like, having no money, going broke, and having to move in to my parents, and there's no space at my parents' house, so I'm like, I would have to sleep on a couch. And I was just thinking about all of these things. And honestly, guys, the unknown makes me anxious. The unknown makes me anxious, and it's something that I am trying to get better at being comfortable with the unknown, because I'm a control babe. Like, I like to be in control of things that are within my remit. Do you know what I mean? I would rather, it's just easier for me to know what's going on. And if I don't know what's going on, it gives me a sense of uncertainty, and I am not comfortable with that. So that is something that I had to deal with, I had to persevere through. I doubted myself a lot. I'm not going to lie to you. I doubted myself a lot, and I had to change my mindset. And if I'm honest, I've done that a lot through prayer. And I'm not gonna lie though, the financial fear does cripple you. It really does. And I feel like a lot of people that say, oh, I quit my job to start my new business or to do this, and they glorify it, and it's hard. I'm not gonna lie, I always describe it as being in the wilderness. Like, it's isolating, it's scary, it's a new thing, you don't know what to do, you have no direction. You literally have to, if you're religious, what I am, I had to like rely on God to guide me. And so many times he was always just like, be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted amongst the earth. Like, that is something that he just kept saying to me, is be still. Why are you fearing? Although it is hard to push through the doubts and the fears, just push through, you know, pray through it, seek guidance. I think don't isolate yourself, speak to your friends and speak to people that can help you as well. And I've noticed, don't speak to people that can't help you. Like, you might have a friend that is not a business person or business minded, and they're like 9-to-5 minded, so they might discourage you and just be like, oh, why don't you just apply for jobs? Like, it's not working. Do you know what I mean? You have to fill your mind with the right people. Like, who you're going to seek advice from, I think is really important, because those people need to speak life into you, and you cannot speak life into yourself. Let's talk about the transition. If I'm honest, the transition from a 9-to-5 to starting a business it's extremely hard. It is daunting. It is isolating. You don't know what you're doing. I'll be so real. You don't know what you're doing. You feel lost. You're like, am I on the right track? You're going to doubt yourself so much. Like, it's unreal how much doubt creeps in. Like, you just feel like you're lost. You're navigating a new area, a new thing. And if I'm honest, you just have to put in the work. Like, you really have to put in the work. And I've said this previously, like, you have to get used to being tired. Like, and that tiredness might not even be physically, but it's going to be mentally. But you need to know like when to take breaks. And I think that's something I struggle from. I'll be in bed, I'll be like, okay, I'm resting, but I'm on CapCut editing a video, but I'm on, you know, Google searching stuff. Do you know what I mean? I'm looking at courses, or I'm looking at, you know, new techniques. That's not resting. Main emotions that creeps up up a lot in that transition period is anxiety. Again, just being uncertain and the fear of the unknown, and it's not helpful having African parents that don't see the vision. Do you know what I mean? Like, sometimes you need your parents. Like, I think one thing I really did need is to hear, okay, we're going to support you, got you, sort of thing. That's something I needed to hear. But you know, African parents is just African parents, innit? So I kind of had to rely on God, rely on myself, and rely on the close friends around me to just guide me. And a lot of the time I did get like, oh, why don't you apply for a job? Why don't you apply for a job? And I kind of had to say to them, like, that isn't what God called me to do. And I'm not gonna lie, there's been so many moments where I've started applying for jobs because I'm scared of, you know, going broke and not having money, but that wasn't what God called me to do. And again, I kept getting rejections, and it was like God telling me, like, this isn't what I told you to do. Like, you're operating from fear. So yeah, those emotions are real, guys, and it's really normal, like, going through those seasons. And don't let people glorify it, because it's not, as you know, the grass isn't greener on the other side. Like, it's hard until it gets better, you know. I think one advice that people who are successful in the industry have always said to me is, you just need to be consistent and keep going. So that is what I'm doing. So the goals that I have for myself is, I want to grow on YouTube, and I want to support, you know, people who have been in or are in similar positions. I kind of want us to all to grow together and, you know, create a community where we can give advice and support each other, because it is not easy, and I'm still going through it. Like, it's still new to me. I still do go through anxious seasons and fear and things like that. Treble Studio isn't where I want it to be at the moment, but it is in a better place than it was last year. Still not paying the bills fully though, but but again, I have to just keep betting on myself, because I don't have a choice. So I've started to utilize TikTok more, and I'm seeing like an increase in clientele, which is good. I want to grow on YouTube more, so that's why I'm creating this series of chasing your dreams and, you know, raw emotions, guys. Like, this is happening in real time. Like, this isn't like I quit 5 years ago and I'm now 5 years ahead and I'm telling you what happened in hindsight. No, like, this is real emotions. This is raw. This is present stuff. Yeah, I really hope this series encourages someone and to just grow. And obviously, guys, if you've been in this position before and you come across this video, like, please reach out and give some words of encouragement, or drop some words of encouragement in the comments below. So my goal is, I want to hit 1,000 subscribers on YouTube this year of 2025. I want my business to get to a point where I'm going to give myself realistic goals. Like, I want to be generating minimum 3k a month. Ideally, I want to say 10k months, you know what I mean? But if I say I want to make 10k in the next 2 months, it's not realistic. I want my business to be generating minimum 3k a month, and I'm giving myself 6 months to be able to do that. Main focus with Treble Studio is to grow the clientele, to have high clientele retention, so keeping clients that are consistently coming back, and to eventually start generating consistent 4 figures. For me to do that, I'm focusing a lot on like TikTok and social media. I have tried like leafleting and all of that, but I don't feel like it has worked. IG works, but not as much. But I am trying to consistently post on there, but I feel like my energy is going to where I know like the consistent clientele is coming. That is my story. My main goals are to just show up, even if I'm not feeling like it. Just show up, just to keep being consistent, network a bit more. I'm never usually the one to like sit next to someone and be like, hey, but this year I've been being like, hey, how are you, what's your name? Because you never know who you're sitting beside and who can help you and who you can help as well. Yeah, I just hope you guys support me. I hope you guys can watch this growth. You can encourage me, follow me on social media. I'll put it in the description box below. But yeah, guys, if you are in the same position, I want to hear your experience. And if you've been in this position before, give me some words of encouragement and share your socials as well. I'd love to follow you guys. I'll see you next week. Bye.